Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer number 1055-625. This is a clamp style type doorstop and keeper made in a polished chrome finish is what this is. This is a piece of equipment from Bommer that's under their lavatory hardware category. You're going to see this material used in, I see it used in high-end hotels. I see it used in executive types of applications where the finish and the caliber of the hardware is to be as high as possible. I see it used in university libraries, places of that nature is where I routinely see this material. This is what it is. This item is made to order. Almost always will this be a made to order item because this material is manufactured based on the thickness of the material that you are installing it onto for both the door but the jamb as well. All of that needs to be indicated at the time of order so that it's all manufactured correctly. So this is literally a stop, but it incorporates a keeper because it is intended to be used with their rim bolt so that your installation is going to look like that. That's the inside. Okay. Trying to hold that on there without it coming out, that's not going to work for me. Give you a little further example of what this is. So obviously your door is going to be mounted. The stop is mounted to the your door, let's say. This is typically used on in-swinging doors. So from this perspective, I'm on the outside, viewing the outside. You're on the inside, and this partition, this lavatory door, is going to open in this way. It will have the rim bolt attached to the face of the door. The keeper of the strike will be right out here so that when the door closes, I'll be able to lock my bolt right into the strike prep that's there. Okay. This is used with Bommer rim bolts 15004 and 15009. We're going to discuss that in a moment. This is for in-swinging doors, as just demonstrated. There'd be no way to use this on an out-swinging door because your stop is over in this area. Okay. For use with hinge-hung doors, if you're doing a pivot-style type door, there's a different model of this to use, the 1055-P. We'll go over that in a moment. This is made of brass. This is wrought brass. The 625 in the part number means three things. It's made of brass, it's a polished chrome finish, and that it has a lacquer on it. Okay. Clamp flange, jam bracket, rubber bumper on the stop. It's non-handed. It can be installed either way. Doesn't really matter what side you're going to install it on. And comes with 2 through bolts and nuts. You are indeed going to get security type fasteners. You might call these a binder post, I suppose. You're going to thread one end into one side. The bolt will come through. Be real careful before you're installing these. These one-way screws are generally not very conducive to coming out. Okay, and that's another reason why everything has to be ordered the proper size, because the length of those bolts will also be in relationship to the thickness of the jamb. This client ordered a door thickness of 1.25 inches and a jamb thickness of 1.25 inches as well. Before we get to the other parts, the 15004, 009, and the dash P, let's take a look at the technical drawing that's available here. And it's going to show what the installation looks like and also give us some basic dimensional properties of the item as well. From that drawing, we can see that it's 2.5 inch overall height, that we have basically 1.25 inch dimension from the stop area to where the screws are. A little shy on that. This is intended for 1.25 inch thick door. That would make sense as well. And also for 1.25 inch thick jamb. That makes sense as well. That's in good shape. On that technical drawing as well, or cut sheet or template, whatever we're calling it, the part A and the part B are also listed there. In the upper right-hand corner. Okay, I was struggling to find where they were calling that out. And it will give you the dimensional properties as the door style and thickness change. In terms of what their subcomponent part numbers are called, which is frankly not germane at all to this review. May be important for their internal processing to understand what the subcomponents are. There's also then a reference to how the lock hole housing works, what that looks like, a reference to an indicator should there need to be an indicator involved, and there very generally is an indicator involved. Now there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, and that's handy because you'll be able to see, you'll be able to pull that page up and then open up the product catalog. And from there, you'll be able to review within the product catalog. And if you were to pull up that catalog and do a find function on the keyboard for 1055, you'll get to the page where you find the lavatory hardware door strikes and keepers. And that's a handy document to be able to review because it's going to allow you to have an overview of what the system looks like, is the bottom line, what I'm trying to drive at. In particular, it's going to show you the 15004 or the 009 that are going to be in that catalog as well on a preceding page, a couple of pages up. There's basically two different types of bolt mechanisms that you can use, one that will slide and the other that will turn on a rack and pinion sort of scenario. So that information is handy to have there all in one place. And generally what you'll find with Bommer is that the difference between things may not be immediately obvious, but as you study the document, it does become fairly straightforward. For instance, if you had a pivot hung style, the dimensions of the product need to change a little bit, so they give it a different part number. And you'd be looking at your 1055P. You can do that as an in-swing, or the 1057 series as an outswing. So that catalog is handy because we can review all of that material. And as I was saying earlier, the access to the knowing which rim bolt that you're using is awfully handy as well. What remains unknown to me at this time, although by the time you're seeing this video, I will have the question answered in the extended description of the product itself, is what makes the difference between the 1055 and the 1055-P. It's not readily evident to me what is making the difference. It could be how they may want to balance. I'm not sure. I've got to call into engineering and we'll update. This is going to be available, of course, in the different architectural finishes. You know, your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, things of that nature. And as you have access to that catalog, I would encourage you to look at the rest of the parts that they have there. They do have just the 1072 stop that does not incorporate your holder into it. The method of installation, of course, is separating your two pieces like this. They come neatly put together so you really don't even know what's happening. Okay. This is definitely made to order material from Bommer. Let's see if there's anything else we've not covered in the extended description, other than the one unknown aspect of what's the difference between the butt and pivot hung version. They can be manufactured in different thicknesses for door, different thicknesses for jamb. That does have to be specified at the time of order, because otherwise we don't know, you know, as you can see, that this literally needs to be manufactured to suit based on that thickness of that material. Okay. Made of wrought brass. And as we talked about earlier, it's plated polished chrome. Okay. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Bommer products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Bommer, this is their part number 1055 and a 625 finish. All those other part numbers in the middle just talk about the size of the unit. Or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. There is no Bommer logo on this, which is, most of their products have their logo. Most of their products incorporate into their logo, made in USA, a fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. Any questions on the Bommer 1055, 625, or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.